I want to thank our brave first responders and law enforcement personnel who stopped the attacker in his tracks before he killed or injured even more people. I want to thank you to everyone at the Department of Homeland Security. Thank you to everyone at the Department of Homeland Security, the Department of Justice, including the FBI, working nonstop.
Well, I guess we're not going to watch no fucking Jeopardy tonight.
The FBI is leading the investigation to determine what happened, why it happened, whether there was any continuing threat to public safety. Here's what we know so far. The FBI has reported to me the killer was an American citizen, born in Texas. He served in the United States Army on active duty for many years. He also served in the Army Reserve until a few years ago. The FBI also reported to me that mere hours before the attack, he posted videos on social media indicating that he's inspired by ISIS, expressing a desire to kill. The ISIS flag was found in his vehicle, which he rented to conduct this attack. Possible explosives were found in the vehicle as well, and more explosives were found nearby. The situation is very fluid, and the investigation has a preliminary stage. And the fact is that right now, excuse me.
Uh-oh.
There you go. The law enforcement continue to look for any connections, associations, or co-conspirators. We have nothing additional to report at this time. The investigation is continuing to be active, and no one should jump to conclusions. I've directed my Attorney General, the FBI Director, the Secretary of Homeland Security, the head of the National Counterterrorism Center, and the intelligence community to work on this intensively until we have a full and complete information. And once we have that information, I will share that information as soon as we can confirm it. Additionally, we're tracking the explosion of a cyber truck outside the Trump Hotel in Las Vegas. Law enforcement and the intelligence community are investigating this as well, including whether there's any possible connection with the attack in New Orleans. Thus far, there's nothing to report on that score at this time.
If you look at his eyes, he looks higher than I am.
Sure every resource is made available to facilitate local law enforcement, to complete the investigation in New Orleans quickly, and to make sure there's no remaining threat to the American people. Quickly, and to make sure there's no remaining threat to the American people.
He's on there too.
We'll support the people in New Orleans.
I had on Channel 6.
Oh, you
New
did?
Orleans is a place unlike any other place in the world. It's a city full of charm and joy.
Oh, boy.
Because of its history, its culture, and above all, its people. So I know, while this person committed a terrible assault on the city, the spirit of our New Orleans will never be.
You guys missed it. His brain broke like 2 minutes ago. He was trying to read off of a paper, and he just like blinked his eyes and looked at it, and then he said, "Well, then."
May God bless the people of New Orleans. May God bless our police and our first responders. May God protect our troops, and we'll keep you fully contemporaneously informed. Thank you.
Okay, are we going back to Jeopardy now? Oh, he walks like a fucking crypt keeper.
President Biden, they're sharing his thoughts with the grieving.
Oh, let me guess, we're not going to have
people in New Orleans who are grieving.
Hit the guide button and see if Jeopardy's on today.
Grieves with you. The president obviously reflecting what he has learned through his updates and briefings during the day, noting that there are signs that the
It's supposed to be Jeopardy.
By ISIS, and of course stressing
see fucking Joe Biden.
all federal resources to this ongoing investigation.
Oh my God, Luke! Don't remind me. He only runs this country for another 19 days. Thank fucking God.
Shamsuddin-Jabbar is not the first member of the United States military
What's up, mister?
radicalized and carry out an attack. And tonight you heard President Biden say there are signs that he was inspired by ISIS to carry out the attack on Bourbon Street. The authorities are investigating whether he was radicalized in recent years online. And they're also looking at videos that the president said the suspect appears to have made.
So we're not going to watch Jeopardy tonight.
Allegiance to ISIS. This has been
This is fucking bullshit.
Warning about for years as terror groups have encouraged.
Let's look at the laser
foreigners
pointer
to
around, play
carry
with the
out
cat for a
attacks,
while.
particularly vehicle ramming attacks in the United States. And so far, authorities have not been able to stop it. Mary.
Okay, Aaron, thank you. Still so many questions about the motivation and the suspect. We know you'll continue to track all of this. Good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight. Of course, we do want to return to our regular programming. For some of you, that is...
Where are you? Oh, you're from the UK? I don't even know who your guy is anymore. I remember Boris. He looked like fucking Fat Angus from AC/DC.
Fine Wine Industries presents the Holiday Not To-Do List. Don't show up empty-handed. Treat your host to
Oh, are they done now? Or, so we're gonna be watching Jeopardy.
about last-minute holiday shopping.
Good. Dude, you're so fucking lazy.
Perfect gift for everyone on your list. And lastly, don't just give them a card or a gift. Give them a card and a gift. It's the gift of choice, a gift card. Cheers to good spirits this holiday season.
Healthier starts here with Get Covered New Jersey. When life comes at you fast, quality health coverage is a must. If you need health insurance, now is your time to enroll in coverage through Get Covered New Jersey. Quality, affordable health coverage with choices that fit your life and your budget. 9 in 10 get financial help, and many pay $10 a month or less. All plans provide free preventive care, coverage for
You're the laziest cat ever.
services, and more.
But it's accurate, right? Like, he's got the hair, and he dresses like it. I guarantee you he's got a pair of shorts like that. Look at this one. They don't have any claws.
Or a new Ram 1500, only $249 a month. Jeeps, 0% APR 72 months, up to $12,000 off. Jeep, $199, Ram, $249 per
I mean,
during the wrap up the year sales event.
at least we're not like France, though.
Because we'll beat any competitors.
The leader of France is French.
Store brands are today's no-brainer way.
He surrenders every time Euro Disney has fireworks.
Giant brands are as good on your plate as they are in your pocket.
Macron.
There are thousands of
What a fucking gay name, too. Macron. Who?
everyday savings like these.
He's right there.
Yeah, was he upstairs?
No.
Save on your family's favorites.
What's he doing? He's eating something.
Save this week on giant.
What are you eating?
buns or kits, 2 for $6.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We go the extra mile to lend a helping hand. To keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong. We've been deeply rooted in our communities for more than 85 years. And that connection to members has earned us our spot as the #1 health insurer in the region. So while you look out for your...
Now, do you think they're going to start Jeopardy already in progress? Or, you would think, you'd think they would have cut the commercials out and ran it, but Jesus Christ, more commercials.
There's one brand at Walmart that stands above the rest. It's Super Beets. Discover why more cardiologists recommend Super Beets for heart health support than any other beet brand at superbeets.com.
Josh Moss is a craft distillery owner from Boston. And Josh, last
Well,
week we saw you were just getting your distillery under
Trump
It's going pretty
Trump
well.
already has the track record of being better than Biden. And,
we're getting ready to order equipment.
you know, like, I had no idea about politics until December of 2019. And, I mean,
and the actual place, and yeah.
honestly, dude, you don't have to know anything about politics. You just, you have to know, like, what you like and what your candidate likes, and they should be the same thing. And then the big thing is if your candidate actually does what he or she says they're going to do, and Trump did. He was one of the few presidents ever that said, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. And he did it. I mean, I was like, I don't consider myself a Republican, but I like Trump because, like, I want to start a business. Like, he wants good interest rates for business. He wants, people to make money. Like, he wants less regulations, less taxes. It's good for me. I don't personally like him. I think he's a fucking scumbag for, you know, banging porn star when he had Melania at home. I mean, that's literally the definition of going out for hamburger when you got steak at home. Because Melania's hot as fuck, but that's all politics is, and it's all opinions. Well, hold on. Hey, what are you doing?
Delaware nickname precedes Heritage Park, an urban park without boundaries. Gino, what is Constitution? Sorry, no. Josh,
What is the first state?
it's the first state heritage park.
State parks for 1,000.
Explore Warbler Road or Woodpecker Trail in the Kentucky State Park named for this 19th century artist.
Ansel Adams?
Was Audubon?
Oh, Charles Audubon.
Happy New Year's Day.
Alternate your legs forward with a tap. 1660, recording that his wife burned her hand preparing a meal and other events of that day. This man makes his first diary entry. Queen.
Was Pepys?
Samuel Pepys is right.
Happy New Year's Day for 1,000.
1990. He's sworn in as the first black mayor of New York City. Josh.
Who is Dinkins?
David Dinkins, yeah.
Happy New Year 600.
1927. His football game is broadcast coast to coast on radio for the first time. Josh.
What is the baseball?
Yeah.
Potpourri 600.
This maximum security correctional facility in New York was originally called Mount Pleasant Prison. Gino?
Sing Sing.
Sing Sing.
Yes.
State parks for 400, please.
Arkansas's Crater.
All right, you too, man. Have a nice night, Luke.
Like Uncle Sam. Cut up and sold for $150,000 in 1971 dollars. Gino.
Diamonds?
Yes.
Happy New Year's Day for 400, please.
1962. This U.S. Navy Special Forces unit is established.
Seals.
Colleen.
What are the seals?
Right.
4-letter words with an X for 200.
In 2015, CNN reported 30% of teens have broken up or been broken up with this way. Colleen.
Text.
Ouch, yes.
Potpourri for 400.
A brand of jeans and a Jeep model both have this name.
Wrangler.
It can also refer to someone who saddles horses. Gino.
What is Wrangler?
Yes.
The race is on for 400, please.
Answer there, and we finally find the Daily Yellow. And you're $1,000 off the lead, Gino.
Bet $2,000, please.
All right, that'll put you in front of Josh. Here's your clue, and the race is on. Talk about a dynasty. The New York Yacht Club won this race 24 straight
The
times
regatta.
from 1870 to 1980.
What is the America's Cup?
That is correct. You're in first.
Oh
place.
shit, they want the actual name. Damn, fuck.
4 clues left, Gino. What'll it be?
I wouldn't have got that.
State parks for 200, please.
Head to the 55,000-acre Missouri lake named for this president to see the dam and the state park named for him. Josh.
Who's Truman?
It is.
Race is on 200.
A literal landmark race took place in November 1905 when a man named Forestier was the first to make it up 729 steps of this. Colleen.
Statue of
The
Liberty.
Eiffel Tower?
It is.
Potpourri, please.
This actress is behind a line of hair care products called Blake Brown. Colleen.
Who's Blake Lively?
Yes, and we'll finish off Happy New Year's Day. 1877. She is proclaimed Empress of India. Colleen.
Who's Queen Victoria?
That's right, taking you to 3,800. A strong round, but Gino and Josh are playing well. Also, you'll select first in double Jeopardy, Colleen. It'll all begin when we return. No Tony.
There's something wrong with my finger. Look at it. Danny.
Michael, oh, Papa, Dad, we have 96 hours to build a house. We're undeserving. A family.
This was more than just extreme home makeover. This was
You know,
life makeover.
if a bunch of people who don't know how to build a house can build a house in 3 days, why does it take
The excellence of
like
driving a Buick
months
is matched
to
by
build a
the
house?
excellence of the dealership experience.
Those guys actually know what they're doing. Don't you think it should be the other way around?
Buick. Exceptional by design.
Can you even hear what I'm saying?
Drive is here. Current
What?
eligible Buick
Never
financing
mind.
with Buick.
We'll-
Ultra low mileage
I thought you were listening. I had like a whole conversation with you.
I was trying to find something. I was saying, look.
I'm not saying it again. That was I don't even.
Clue for you. Family owned and operated. Bigelow Tea was started
There
in
you go.
1945
You need a
in
hearing
Brownstone
aid.
in this city. Stay tuned for the correct response.
Listening to people that drink Bigelow tea is so important to my family because making that perfect cup, it's the reason we do what we do. Hi, guys. So what are you guys drinking? Constant comment. When I'm drinking Bigelow tea, it's just a moment for me. It's just me time. That's what a cup of tea is. A moment for you, someone you love.
It tastes really great.
Yes, it was always Bigelow tea. Wow, that's what my family hopes for. Cheers.
Weird.
The correct response, what is New York City? Watch Jeopardy. Weeknights at 7 on 6 ABC.
Clarissa's mom goes into surgery January 9th.
8th through 19th. Tickets on sale now at Ensemble.
Well, I got a text message when I was out with Toby, and I said,
Just looking for
"What the fuck is she going to surgery for? She had stage 4 cancer in her brain, in her lung. I think like her bladder, her liver, or something. Like 4 things she said. So what the fuck are they doing surgery for?"
Yeah.
And Toby goes to open her up and spread it everywhere. And I said, basically, yeah. I mean, at that point,
Why don't they put her on hospice?
they're not going to make her live any longer, but no matter what they do to her.
Put her on hospice.
Yeah, like, I don't.
Making her suffer.
Top stories trending on Action News and 6ABC.
Like, she's not terminal yet.
Oh, she's not.
It's stage 4, but she only has like 90 days to live. Tops, probably. Because once you get stage 4 brain and lung cancer, liver cancer, like
You know she would die on the surgery table.
she could. That's why I don't.
She passed them down to you.
I don't know.
You passed them to her. Ancestry DNA.
Like even if it was just one cancer and it was stage 4,
Your genes are one of a
you're
kind.
pretty much 90% fucked. She has 4.
Ancestry DNA.
Well, they're gonna cut it all out.
Double Jeopardy equals 2 damn doubles on the board. Here are the categories where they're hidden. First, Shakespeare.
Ah.
Then some TV music. Followed
Again.
by People of Africa. I used 3 initials. Followed by medical terminology. And then we'll introduce you to Jane Stone, World War II linguist.
What?
She's a hypothetical expert in the languages of the Axis powers.
Oh.
Colleen, you're up first.
medical terminology, 400.
Cephalalgia is a medical term for this. Take a couple of aspirin or ibuprofen and call me in the morning.
Headache.
Josh.
What's a headache?
Right.
Medical terminology 1600.
Ulcerative or otherwise, it's an inflammation of the large intestine.
Colitis.
Colleen.
What is colitis?
Yes.
Medical terminology, 2000.
From Greek for a knot of tissue, this type of cyst often appears along the tendons or joints of the hands or wrists. Josh.
What are ganglion cysts?
That is correct for 2000.
Medical terminology 12.
It may ring a bell, but this is the medical term for ringing in the ears, though it can be other noises like buzzing or hissing.
Tinnitus.
Colleen.
What is tinnitus?
Tinnitus, yes.
Medical terminology, 800.
Denoting a tumor, this suffix follows lymph, sarc, and blast.
Node.
Josh.
What's OMA?
Yes.
Oh yeah, shit.
Jane
Fuck.
Stone linguist for 2000.
Answer. Daily Double.
I'm not only a cunning linguist, but also a master debater.
Josh, but you have the lead. What will you wager?
1600.
Okay. And even 11,000 if you're right in Jane Stone, World War II linguist. 17-letter German words are child's play for Jane, who tells the Navy that Unterwasserbomben are these 2-word anti-sub weapons.
Underwater bombs.
What are ocean mines?
Sorry, no. Depth charges. Is that
Oh.
what Unterwasserbomben are? You're still in the lead, Josh.
Let's do People of Africa 16.
Lesotho minus LE gets you the Sutu people. The Western Sutu are called V's. Another country minus BO. Josh.
What is the Tswana?
Correct.
People of Africa 2000.
Ethiopia's 2 largest ethnic groups are the Triple O Oromo and this Triple A group, whose name recalls a local language. Colleen.
Who are the Amhara?
Debbie,
right,
you watching
like America.
TV?
People of Africa, 1200.
I hate
The
to
Hutu
bother you,
people
but
are the
when
majority
you
group
say
in this
each
country
chart,
and Burundi.
how do you bring
Josh.
up your stuff
Is
that you
Rwanda?
have done already?
People of
But
Africa
what-
800.
Cattle are a big deal to the newer of the Nile region. A man is often called by the name of his prize, this, a castrated bull.
I have it up. I have like,
Steer? No.
they have messages up. I
Colleen
owe
or Josh?
$15, but I
called by the name of
can't,
his
I don't know what
ox.
to do.
Back to you,
To
Josh.
find out, like, the
Shakespeare for
doctors that I
2000.
went to are
Ray Fiennes made his
surgeries that I
directorial
had, like, my
debut with a
cancer
modern
surgery
battle gear
that I had.
adaptation of this play of ancient
have to know
Rome
the
with a
year.
one-word title. Colleen,
Othello?
What is Coriolanus?
correct, you're tied for the lead.
Shakespeare for 1600.
Lady Macbeth thinks her husband is not ruthless enough. Too full of
I
this
don't know.
item, not actually in the dairy case.
This paper I have here, they want this all
Too
filled
full
out,
of the
and
milk of human kindness.
I don't know what to
Colleen?
do with
Shakespeare
it.
1200.
Oh, here.
Published in
Check if you have
1597,
received
this
the
Shakespeare
following
play looks back a
procedures
bit
in the
over a
year
century
before.
to the winter of our discontent.
Surgical
Gina,
procedure,
was Richard III?
date,
That's it.
cataract surgery.
TV music for 1200.
I know I had it done, but I don't know
Matthew
what year.
Weiner used an instrumental version of RJD2's A Beautiful Mind
I don't
for
know
the
why I
opening
have
of
to
this
do it.
period drama that he created. Gino. What is Mad Men? That's the show. TV music for 1600. Everywhere You Look was
Do I
the
go
theme
under
song to this
menu?
show that ran until 1995. Carly Rae Jepsen's cover
Full
was
House.
the
I'm not
Netflix
there.
sequel. Colleen,
What is Full House?
you got it.
My records?
Shakespeare 800.
Answer. Daily Double.
Oh shit! Somebody else made a comment.
Here's a scoring update before you wager, Colleen. Our
Happy
judges
New
will
Year.
accept
What's up, Danny?
here instead of ox just then.
I haven't seen you for a while.
$100 back, and you will wager based on these scores.
Let's do
My
2000.
chart.
All right, that'll extend your lead. If you're right in Shakespeare,
After this.
Polonius saying, I hear him coming. Let's withdraw, my lord, is the cue for this immortal line.
Who the fuck knows?
What is?
Othello.
Not to me.
Whew, in the nick of time. Yes.
Mm.
Downward enters.
Don't fucking know.
You had 2000.
Let's do
My
80
chart.
Yeah.
for 2000.
I am on my.
Cavalry officer James.
I was in bed at I think like 10 o'clock.
What is
Honestly,
J.D. Stewart?
Yes.
I'm fucking 40 now. I'm on parole.
William Edward
My lady
Burghardt.
friend's in New York
I'm
City.
afraid to edit things down.
Yeah, I was in bed at like 10 o'clock.
We know him as
Took-
W.E.B. Du Bois.
I think I took 3 gummies last night and went to
James
bed.
Stone for 1600.
Dude, I was so fucked
James
up.
explains this word solo
Pretty
is
awesome.
Japanese toast. But after
What?
Tenno Haika, a war
Yeah.
meaning may the emperor live 10,000 years. Josh, what is
And it rained here. It
I have to
sucked.
sign back here.
I posted a video. It was pouring. And then as it was pouring,
Okay.
Jane Stone for
there
1200.
was lightning.
Jane
Lightning in
doesn't know
December.
it's
You believe that?
TV streaming platform, but she is aware that this means 6 in Japanese. Josh,
What's Roku?
you got it.
Linguist 800.
Toccaferro, or touch iron, Jane clarifies,
Okay.
is the Italian
I'm gonna
version of
try.
this superstitious saying.
Knock on wood.
It's knock on wood.
Yeah,
Yeah, I have to get on
for
some,
2000.
sign into my
this
chart.
classic comedy used the haunting instrumental.
And
And then the other day, I was really high
2000 for you.
and I watch a lot of reels on Facebook.
Avatar
And I was watching Malcolm in the Middle.
Why not?
Christine Hilario.
And I was sitting there thinking,
Oh, that's the great CC.
Cleveland, yo, my cousin lives in Cleveland.
300.
She's a teacher and her husband works at NASA.
Carl Philip Emmanuel. No relation to
So anyway,
20th century composer
I was like,
Q.
wait a minute.
Who's Bach? Yes, CPE.
The whole show,
TV music.
Malcolm in the Middle,
A song called
never makes sense until the little baby brother's born in like the second to the last season. Because if you think about it, you know what? Okay.
Joe Raposo wrote C is for Cookie and co-wrote the theme to this series that used it.
Go where?
Josh.
What's Sesame Street?
Right.
People
I'm going outside. So anyway, now hear me out. If Malcolm in the Middle for the first like 6 seasons is Francis, Reese, Malcolm, and then Dewey. Malcolm's not the middle child. But when Jamie's born, then it goes Francis, Reese, Malcolm, Dewey, and Jamie. So Malcolm is the 3rd out of the 5th kid. If anything, Reese would have been the middle child until Dewey was born. But then, I mean, unless you want to pull the bullshit that, like, oh, the 2 middle kids are the middle kid. But that's not bullshit because 2 middle kids can't be ignored. Only 1 middle kid can be ignored. And, you know, a bunch of people were mad that I said that. And I was like, It just never made sense to me because Malcolm was never in the middle until Jamie was born. But I hated his mom. Dude, she was like the bitchiest TV mom ever. I mean, Roseanne was pretty bitchy back in the day, but dude, Malcolm's mom was a bitch. She was nasty to everybody. Oh, hottest TV mom. Oh shit. Hottest. Dude, I can't even think of a hot TV mom. The only mom that I can think of right now is Peg Bundy, and I actually think she was hotter in Sons of Anarchy than she was in what the hell is Married with Children. Like I like older women though. So who else? What other mom? Dude, I can't even think. Oh, I know who. Did you ever watch that show? What the fuck was it called? There was the dad was the Irish guy, Donald Logue, and then the mom was the blonde lady, Megan Price, and then there was the redheaded girl, and then the two little boys, and like the grandpa that was always over. Ah man, I didn't think Deborah was hot. And she was in that show, The Middle, too. I never watched it. That show was like bootleg Malcolm in the Middle. Like it was straight up bootleg Malcolm in the Middle. I see the clips on here. I can tolerate like the 5-minute clips because that brick kid is funny. But who the fuck else? I can't even like. No, I was almost gonna say the mom from Seventh Heaven. It's just the moment where the episode where one of the kids had a joint and she tells the dad, I've smoked pot before, popped into my head, and I was like, but there's a guy on Facebook, I follow him on Facebook, where he just highlights, he goes through old TV shows, and then he highlights like how fucking horrible they were. Like some of the plots of Seventh Heaven, like one of the plots was the little girl found this homeless girl and brought her home and said, "Can we keep her?" Oh yeah, that guy too. Yeah, he did. All right, well now we got a different subject. We got the pedos coming up. First of all, do you think this Diddy thing is gonna go through? And if the Diddy thing goes through, is it going to be like the Epstein thing, or is it going to be, is it really gonna fuck people up? Like, I heard people are leaving the country already, and Diddy. I heard Diddy was crying. Diddy was crying because he had to spend Christmas in jail. He's like, this is bullshit. Don't these people know who I am? I think with pedophiles, what they should do is they should leave the punishment to the parents. Well, hear me out. I mean, I'm the kind of person who I think that. Oh, did I forget my? I think that sex offenders are people that can't be fixed. And I think that the justice system and everybody knows they can't be fixed. And that's why, even though they get out of jail and they do their parole, they still, for the rest of their life, they have to walk around the neighborhood and tell everyone they're a sex offender for the rest of their life, because they honestly can't be fixed. These fucking weird dudes, they can come without getting a fucking boner. Imagine that. Imagine how dedicated you got to be to do that. But I don't think they should go to jail. I think, well, I mean, they could go to jail, but I think they should have the parents for the sentencing. Like, if the father says, I would like you to drop him off here in handcuffs, and then you leave and then come back in like 8 hours and pick up the chunks. I honestly think, what's going on in West Memphis? Hold on 1 second. It's in there somewhere. All right, let's see what's going on in West Memphis.
Thank you.
You're welcome. The 15-year-old that went missing. Wait. No, this is just yesterday. So what? West Memphis in 1993? I'll look into this because I love true crime. Like, do you like, now see mine, the one that I really get into is Wayne Williams and the Alabama child murders. Like, I still think that Wayne Williams is a killer, but I don't think he killed all of them. I think he, because there were like a lot of girls. I think he got convicted of killing a couple of girls, but he was gay. Now, did you ever hear of it's like the smiley face disappearance and murders? Let me see if I can find it. Disappearance, murders. Yeah. Okay, so this is called the smiley face murder theory. It alleges that 45 young men found dead in bodies of water across several Midwestern American states from the late 1990s to 2010s did not actually drown, as concluded by law enforcement agencies, but the victims of one or multiple serial killers. Now, every single time, and this, like, it wasn't even the FBI. It was a homicide detective in one of the cities that it happened in, and he was convinced that, like, shit was going on. Like, they made it an accidental death. Now, this kid walked out of a bar with his friends, the one that he found. He walked out of a bar with his friends, turned left at the corner, and was fucking gone. Never got on the train, never nothing. And then he was gone for like 3 weeks. Nobody used his credit card. Nobody used his cell phone. Nobody saw him. And then he showed up like 3 miles upriver from where he started. And it only looked like he'd been dead for a few days. And then they started looking at it. And every time they find a body like this, there's just a picture of a yellow happy face. And they call it the happy face disappearance. And it just like happens over and over and over again. And now the other cool one that I've been getting into lately is the National Park 411s. Like people walk into a national park and it's like they go into a time loop and they disappear for like 3 days and people look for them for 3 days straight and don't find them. And then they show up like exactly where they were, or they end up like all the way across country in like 8 hours. Those are fucking freaky, but serial killers are my jam. You want to talk about serial killers? We can talk about serial killers. The guy that I've been looking into recently is Israel Keys. The guy was a nut job. Lived in Alaska, and he used to fly down to the States, rent a car. Who only did 3? Israel? Nah. Israel did a lot. The one that nailed him was the girl at the coffee shop. That's another one of, they only got him for 3. Like serial killers, the reason they fascinate me was the one that got me into it was Gary Ridgway. It was when I watched his testimonials where I think they got him for something like 40 some or whatever. And he's like, I can tell you that it's over 100, but I lost count in the 70s. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, you know how many fucking people you have to kill to lose track of them? I mean, I guess you can kind of relate it to like how many people you fuck, like me. When it was under 10, it was easy to keep track of, but then when it went over 10, then it gets a little harder to keep track of. And like once it gets over 30, it's like sometimes you remember a couple and sometimes you don't. Ow! Fuck. But where's my other phone? I'm gonna look this up because I think Israel Keys killed. Yeah, that motherfucker. He used to fly across country, drive around, and he just bury his kit like in random spots, and then he would come back like years later and drive around, and he would like see a house, and like he didn't kill kids, and so he'd find a house, and if it had a dog, he'd skip it, and if it had a kid, he'd skip it, but if it didn't have a kid or a dog, then he would drive back to where he already buried the knives and the duct tape and the bags and shit and go back and then kill them. And that dude killed a lot of people, I'm telling you. Israel Keys. Count. But this fucking dumbass, he killed a woman or a girl that worked at the coffee shop in his hometown, and then he brought her back into his shed and tortured her for a while, and then went on vacation and used her fucking debit card, and then called in when he got home. It was like 2 weeks later, and she was all rotten, so he sewed her face up with fishing string to make it look like her eyes were open, and then sent a ransom note, and everyone was like, yeah, she's fucking dead. Oh, he's a burglar, an arsonist, sex offender. Yeah, he killed himself. Let's see here. So, see, victims 3+. What is it? Alaska serial killer linked to at least 11 deaths. But it's so hard to. He didn't talk very much. It's the ones that had him linked to. And he only confessed to, I think, like 3 separate killings. And, but, dude, he killed people all over. You know, he was kind of like the white collar Henry Lee Lucas and Otis Toole. Because those dudes, they drove from Florida to Texas and then back to Florida, just murdering people all along I-10. Like, I don't know how the fuck people get away with this shit. Like, as it is today, the FBI says there's, at least 30 serial killers active at any given moment in the United States. And with all the technology we have and the fact that you get DNA taken when you go to jail and all this shit. Oh, yeah. FBI says that. And, like, half of them are in California, Southern California. Well, California and the Pacific Northwest, like the West Coast, more than half of all serial killers generally come from there. And I think, dude, there's a lot active. But now, let me ask you this question. Like, I talk to you once in a while. You seem like a pretty bright guy. Do you think that you could kill 3 people without getting caught? I mean, I don't want to be put on a list or anything, but I'm fairly confident that I could kill 3 people without getting caught. I don't think it would be very hard. Like, I just don't use a gun. Make sure it's someone you don't know. There you go, right there. I mean, they call them, what do they call them? I think they call them less than human. And that's the thing. Like, yeah, it does sound really bad, but that's what they call them, less than human. And it's because of the transient lifestyle. Like, they don't put down roots, so nobody knows them. Like that Picton dude. Remember the Picton dude from Vancouver in Canada? They think he killed over 100 people. And, like, literally nobody fucking knew about it because it was just homeless people. And then he'd grind them up. And if you watch the documentary on it and you read up enough about it, he sold people to the horse factory that grinds up the bones. So if you ate Jell-O, you might have ate people, because he sold human bones to get rid of some. So like when they went like human bones and pig bones, and they bought the fat. So he sold like human bones with horse bones, and then he sold human fat with pig fat. So like they had to recall sausage, and they were recalling Jell-O. Like, and nobody knew the difference. They were eating people, and they were just like, this Jell-O's good. Ooh, this sausage, extra yummy. Yeah, that was some fucking heroin addicted prostitute. But it's like, I don't know, man. I got it on my other phone right here. Look. Or did I look up? Let me see. Is it still here? I looked up Israel Keys out of that, but I'm gonna look at it because, like, I like that shit. Oh, did you ever see? It's based on a true story. I think it was on Netflix. It's like the Crow something or Blackbird. Yeah, Blackbird. And like this guy came in and he confessed to like all these murders, and then when they locked him up, he said that they were just dreams. Like I didn't really murder anybody, but they have him locked up in the mental hospital, so they give like, oh yeah, you saw that? That was based on a true story, dude. But yeah, that was. I'm not big into binge watching. Yeah. Oh, it was a great TV show. But I'm not big into binge watching. I like. Yeah, dude. Read into it because it's a true story. They send this dude into jail. Like he's got like a 20-year sentence, and they tell him that if he gets this guy to tell him where the bodies are, and they find just one body, he'll get out. So they put him in there, and then he's got to like befriend them. And this guy's batshit crazy. Yeah, well, he confessed to the wrong murders too, but he was a habitual. He was like one of those guys that wanted people to look at him. So he'd confess to other murders, and they'd bring him in and interview him. But the murders that they thought he did, he confessed to them, but he said that he was dreaming or he dreamt of them or something. But he gave them details that were there. So they send this guy in, and then like he's on his own. Nobody there knows, and only the warden knows that he's a special case, and they have like a password, and then like the guards get against him and the prisoners get against him. I gotta look that up. Is it new? Like some of these new ones, I don't. Let me see. Oh, that's a movie. Well, now I guess I got more homework to do. Was that Antonio Banderas? All right, I'll have to watch this. Well, I mean, I can tell you that was probably a trucker, and young girls, yeah. It was either a trucker or it depends. Well, between 12 and 25, that was probably most likely human trafficking. That's what I would say, because I'm not saying I know anything about this, and honestly, I don't. But if I was a human trafficker, for a long time, like I don't know, did you ever see The Wire? If you didn't, it's a great show. About cops, like late '90s in Baltimore. But they had a case like this where a shipping can came in on a boat, and when they brought her off, they crushed the air vent, and a bunch of hookers died. Like they came across on a boat. Yeah, like that happens. They kidnap girls in the Middle East and Russia and Ukraine or wherever, and they ship them over here. But I mean, now you have the U.S.-Mexico border, which is like my fat ass could run across there without anyone chasing me down, and that's where they bring in the drugs. Straight across there, they bring in the drugs. They bring in the girls from Mexico, to Florida, and then up into Chicago. But if I am the purchaser of these girls and they came across Mexico, I would like to put them in Dallas or Houston or somewhere to see which ones are the troublemakers and which ones are going to make me money. And then let's just say while they're being shipped out, maybe the troublemakers don't make it to the next location. Or it was a trucker who likes lot lizards and he doesn't like to pay them. It is brutal, but tell me it's not human nature. I mean, I have a quote that I came up with a long time ago, and I tell people the only two things that humans have done consistently since the dawn of time is kill other people, kill and hurt and kill other people, and figure out better ways to hurt and kill other people that kill more people at one time. That's all we've done consistently well since the dawn of time. And, you know, no matter who you are or what you are, you know, we'll start out, you know, they say I'm the white man and, you know, I'm the oppressor and I kill everybody, but half of my family tree was genocided by the white man. My grandmother, she is, was Northern Mexican Apache. How did the white man treat the Native Americans? Not too good. And then her husband, my grandfather, when he was about 6 years old, him and 13 of his family members fled Poland because this really cool white dude named Adolf Hitler was rolling in, and they were Polish Jews. And when they landed at Ellis Island, it was him, his sister, and his aunt. Three out of 14 showed up. People say, "Oh, you know, religion." Well, the spreading the peaceful word of Jesus Christ and his good book has killed more people in this world than everything except for natural causes. I tell this to my uncle and he argues with me. And I said, bro, the fucking Catholic Spanish like genocided half of her family tree. You ever hear of the Crusades? You know? You watch Tears of the Sun, the movie of Bruce Willis, when they're Navy SEALs, they're going to get that doctor out. To this day, tribes in Africa, when they take over another tribe, any boys are either put in the army or executed, so they can't spread their DNA. And then they take the women and they chop their titties off with a machete, so that they can't feed any of the babies, so they starve. And then basically, that village is done. Their people move in. Everybody's done it. It's human nature. Well, yeah, see, that's another thing. You know, Michael Knowles brought that up one time. Like, some professor came in. It is all one big circle. And, you know, if we learn anything from history, it's that every single dynasty, every single world leader has taken. You know what I mean? We don't. You know, well, okay, let's use this for an example. Did you ever hear the quote, strong men bring good times bring weak men bring bad times? Well, this is relatable now because Jimmy Carter just died. Now, you know, being from down under, you might not know, Jimmy Carter was one of the worst presidents the United States of America has ever had. When he was president, we had oil embargo from the Middle East, and people literally had a park around the block to get gas, and they rationed it. You got, Nanny, what did they give you? Like a little, they gave you stamps for the gas, right? When Carter was president, you had stamps for the gas, right?
I don't remember.
Yeah, and you could only go on a certain day and get gas.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, they give you stamps. It was like ration. It was like, you know, in World War II. Yeah, they'd give you a day where you could go, and you could only go on that day. Exactly like Cuba. That's what they did when Jimmy Carter was there. Then, somewhere near the beginning of Jimmy Carter's presidency, Iran took, I don't remember how many Americans hostage, but Jimmy Carter called them up, and this is what the president of the United States said. It's not verbatim, but you'll get what I'm saying. He said,
Mr. Shaw Iran, this is Jimmy Carter, the peanut farmer from United States. We were wondering if, oh golly gee, could you please find it in your heart to give us back those American hostages? And the Shah of Iran went, click, and then Jimmy Carter said to his chief of staff, he said, he said no. And then when Ronald Reagan started campaigning, Ronald Reagan did the same thing. Well, Trump ripped him off because, I mean, Ronald Reagan came out and he said, come hell or high water, I will get those hostages back. If everybody on this world has to burn in nuclear fire, those hostages will be back by the time I'm inaugurated. And when they found out that Ronald Reagan won, that was when he swept. He won 49 out of 50 states. The day before his inauguration day on January 19th, Shah of Iran turned over those hostages. And Ronald Reagan came in and, like, big dick energy. He just, like, walked up, and because he was also the guy. This is my favorite story. Actually, it's probably my second favorite political story ever. But Ronald Reagan had the Russians believing that we had fucking lasers in outer space that could shoot them from outer space. And it was like 82 or 83 when the Russians came in. It was called Star Wars or Star something. And basically it was just an empty fucking satellite, and we pretended there were lasers in there that could shoot Russia. And oh my God, Reagan's comic jokes were the best one. My favorite one. Well, other than when he said, "What's that old Russian adage? I pretend to work, you pretend to pay me." but my favorite comic joke was one day the driver comes to pick up Gorbachev, and Gorbachev was out in the country and it was taking forever. And guy was taking his time, and Gorbachev was like, "Get out of here! I'm gonna drive." So on the way back, man, Gorbachev is just jamming them gears. He's like, "Rah!" He comes around and turns her ass end, kicks out, and the cop pulls him over and rolls the window down. And there's Gorbachev, and he comes back and he gets in his car, and Gorbachev pulls away, and his partner says to him, he says, "Hey, who was in that car?" And he said, "I don't fucking know, but Gorbachev is his driver. I ain't fucking around with him." Yeah, the waiting for a car one was good, but like, and then you know, then Ronald Reagan came in, and you know, the thing with Ronald Reagan was they compared him to Trump with the world. The world didn't know if Ronald Reagan would push the nuclear button or not. He acted big and bad, but he was an actor his whole life. And nobody knew if he would hit that nuclear button. But then, you know, they said when Trump came in, everybody was 100% sure that he would push the nuclear button. But you know, it seems to me that he did everything that he could do to not have the nuclear button on the table. Like, but anyway, back to human nature. I saw this dude actually was on here. A black dude in his 20s, and he was talking about having antisocial personality disorder and how he isolates himself because he doesn't want to take advantage of people because of all the problems it's caused in his life. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna watch this because that's like where I am in my life. I self-isolate. So, and then like my brain's broken. It doesn't work the way normal people work. Like, I'll be honest. I was diagnosed antisocial. I'm a sociopath, right? So like my lady friend, when I met her, like, after the first couple times we went out, I told her, I said, "Look, I'm going to be honest with you up front. My brain is fucking broken." And I said, "I'll be able to keep it up for a couple months, but in a few months, you're probably going to really like me, and then I'm going to do something really fucking weird, and you're going to be like, what the fuck? So I'm telling you right now, and I said, I think you're cool, I'd like to hang out with you, and I would just like to just be me, if that's okay with you. And she's like, yeah. And it turns out that she is the freakiest person I've ever met in my entire life. So that worked out really good. But I hear this guy say the same exact thing to me. He goes, look, if I meet somebody who has like the same hobbies as me, and I think that my time with them won't suck, I just, tell them up front, look, don't give me any room to take advantage of you. And I'm like, holy shit. Like, this guy knows exactly what I'm going through. Now, the way I look at it is, if you put me, I just started watching Survivor again. If you put me on Survivor, I would destroy the fuck out of that. And it wouldn't even be hard for me. I'm almost done with the first season. I know who wins. I know Richard wins. And I don't think Richard won any immunity challenges. But what he did was he fed everybody every day with food. He would go out and he was good at catching fish, and he would bring fish back, and then he would just lay down and do nothing. And everyone's like, oh, we can't get rid of Richard because he catches the fish. That's how I live my life. I do absolutely nothing except things that are really, really, really fucking important. And I take advantage of everybody for that because they need me once a week, once a month, once a year, and then I don't do shit. And I think it's human nature. All this social bullshit, that's not nature. I'm self-employed right now. So my boss is an asshole. Buy storage units. Well, I deliver pizzas too, because Friday and Saturday nights I deliver pizza. So I make like $100 in tips on a Friday and Saturday night. So that's $200 for pocket money, and then we buy and sell. Well, we don't sell. We buy storage units. Right now it sucks though because the flea markets aren't open, so money's kind of tight. I just bought a truck, so now I'm gonna 420 somewhere. But that's the problem I had when I actually worked. Was I would work circles around everybody, and either A, I would make them look bad and they would get mad, and then they'd be assholes, and then I'd be assholes back. And I either wouldn't go back to work or I'd get fired, or I would just go in and do the bare minimum and get by, and then I'd get bored. I ADHD too, so but because I have a history of drug abuse, I can't get the proper medicine for that. Since I'm on parole and get drug tested, I can't bypass the proper medicine for that. So it fucking sucks. But you make do when you got to make do. But buying and selling storage units is pretty cool. I love going to the flea market because you never know who you're gonna meet at the flea market. Sometimes you meet teenagers that are in the older stuff, and then sometimes you meet older people that are in the new stuff, and sometimes I like to talk to people. I like to talk in general. Oh well, but anyway, yeah. So, and you never know what you're gonna see or sell at the flea market. There's some stuff that you take to the flea market and you're like, oh, this is going right in the garbage, and that was the best seller. And same thing, you never know you're gonna find in a storage unit. Hold on, like this.
More than 10,000 men, women, and children dressed up in those elaborate costumes you see there, strutted down Broad Street. New Year's tradition dates back to 1901.
See you later, Danny. Yeah, I'm probably gonna go too. I got a lot of nothing to do, but you know, I'll stay on as long as you stay on. So, catch you later, man. See you guys.